Andrew Bailey, the Bank of England's head of banking regulation, has been appointed to run the Financial Conduct Authority, the UK's financial watchdog. Joining me now to talk about it is Brooke Masters, our company's editor. Brooke, Mr. Bailey is a figure that you know well from your days covering regulation for the FT. What kind of man is the FCA getting?
He's a guy who's been doing financial regulation and financial stability work for years. I first got to know him when he was busy winding up failed banks, so he's seen the seedy underbelly of when the UK system goes wrong. He then went off and ran the splitting off of prudential regulation, which is bank safety, from the FCA long ago, and has been doing that ever since. He's a very unflappable guy. He's not someone who raises his voice a lot. He is very immersed in economics and the geeky details of banking, so he knows his stuff.
Now, it's said that his predecessor, Martin Wheatley, was ousted by the Treasury because he was too hostile towards banks. Can we expect then a lighter touch with Mr. Bailey's appointment?
Well, it's interesting. The city always used to say, why can't Martin Wheatley be more like Andrew Bailey? Wouldn't that be nice? So I think there's some expectation he might be nicer, but I also think that's different roles. Bailey was in charge of prudential regulation, which again, as bank safety, you want to work with the bank to make it safer, to keep it from failing. If you're a conduct regulator, which is what the FCA does, your job is to stop people from ripping off their customers. You're going after them in their worst behavior, making sure that things are fair. I don't think Bailey is a pushover in any way.
But is it fair to say this is an appointment that will be welcomed by the City of London?
I think so. I mean, they like him. They were very suspicious of him when he first took this job because he didn't know anything about insurers. And this particular regulation authority that he was in charge of was both insurers and banks. And he worked very hard to reassure the insurers he wasn't going to do stupid things to them. And so I think he's got a good sense of political ear. He's got a good ear of working with the city. I do not think he's a patsy, though.
Now, the FCA's strategy was implicitly criticised when Mr. Wheatley was ousted, and its 3,000 strong staff are said to have a low morale at the moment. What kind of job ahead of him do you think Mr. Bailey has?
I think it's tough. As always, when the economy starts to pick up, the banks start hiring and they start looking for people with expertise. Well, the people with expertise are in the regulators. So he's already going to probably have a problem with people getting hired out of the regulator. He also does have to make people feel that what they do is worthwhile. I mean, the Treasury came down quite hard when they ousted Wheatley, and then, of course, Tracy McDermott, who was the acting person who was inside, also didn't get it. He's going to have to convince people that the Treasury won't interfere and won't prevent them from doing their jobs. I think he can probably do it. He's a pretty nice guy, and he believes in what he's doing. And he's not, deeply ephemeral or scholarly like some of the bank people. I mean, he's grounded in the world. But he definitely does have to convince people that what they do is valued and what they do will be supported.
Okay, Brooke, we'll have to leave it there. Thanks very much.
Thanks so much.